Yeah, Prophet Marchello Currence back at it, man. So basically, man, I'm gonna be talking about these spiritual warfare, politics, and these real things popping on. Cause it's certain people that think they know everybody. I went to school with him. Well, you didn't know me in school. You don't know me now. We went to school with him. Did me and you hang out? No, we didn't hang out in school. Well, I went to school with him. You went to school with me? Oh, okay. How did that work out? Did me and you hang out? We didn't, did we? People, man, listen, man, people act like they knew you, they know you. I don't know what makes people that comfortable. Oh, I get it. They see a couple patterns and they figure they know who you are. A couple patterns is not everybody, it's the whole person. Squares beware, bro. Squares beware. You know what I'm saying? Don't even try to come into my atmosphere at all. Don't try to do it at all. Because me and you are two different animals, and I guarantee you that for sure. Okay? Am I a bad person? No, I'm not a bad person, but I'm a soldier, and I'm a real soldier with real casualties. I can show you where people have died, in this spiritual war. And that's the next level of spiritual war, man. See, we can't have conversations like this with some of these religious Christians. We'll say, some people may even go as far as say, some people gotta die playing with us and all that. But then when it happens, you got a whole different league of people. Because I know for a fact, because of my spirituality, people have died. So I'm definitely not one of these people that you want to play with, because I've seen my spirituality in action where the Lord led me and people died. You want a biblical example? Let me give you a biblical example. Let me give you a biblical example. Here's a biblical example. Here's a biblical example. Peter. Remember when Peter was in the Bible? The story about Peter when the married couple lied to Peter. Both of them died. Both of them died. Let's look that up. They both died. They lied to Peter and they died. Yeah, they died, buddy. See, when you start talking about death, we lose all these moral people. We lose all these people that think they are so spiritual or so Christian. We lose them. Oh yeah, we're gonna lose them. Cause see, I'm gonna start talking about people dying, getting real casualties, real bodies under our belt. And are we celebrating it necessarily? Okay, here we go. Now, we're not necessarily celebrating it, but it's a part of this real war. And I'm going to show you real casualties where we didn't even fight in the Bible. God's people didn't even fight. Okay, so this is Acts, the 5th chapter. This is Ananias and Sapphira. Okay, Sapphira. Ananias and Sapphira. All right. A man named Ananias and his wife Sapphira sold some property. They sold some property. They agreed to hold back some of the money they had pledged and turn only part of it over to the apostles. Peter asked Ananias, "Why did you let Satan fill you with the idea that you could deceive the Holy Spirit? You've held back some of the money you received for the land." This is Peter talking to Ananias about this property. You've held back some of the money you've received from the land. While you had the land, it was your own. After it was sold, you could have done as you pleased with the money. So how could you do a thing like this? You didn't lie to people, but to God. When Ananias heard Peter say this, he dropped dead. Everyone who heard about his death was terrified. Terrified, buddy. Some young men got up, wrapped his body in a sheet, carried him outside, and buried him. This is real. This is after the disciples, after Jesus ascended to the right hand of the Father. This man done died lying to Peter. He lied to the Spirit of God. He didn't get to get rebuked. He didn't get corrected. He died. See, people don't understand. It's right there. Where you think that God should have mercy, or that God's people should have mercy, this is why you got to really know what you're doing. Because in America, you'll think, God's going to have mercy. Even though I've done this, I'm just going to be banished from the Christian community. I'm just going to be, now we're talking about the people of God. I'm going to just be banished for doing this. I'm going to just be the bad guy. Well, hey, it's dependent on the situation. It's dependent on the situation, man. It's dependent on who it is that you're playing around. Now, if you're playing around deception, you're doing deception among deceivers, I don't know what will happen, because their karma is going to be, hey, they might get deceived themselves, right? But if you playing around Peter was right there with Jesus. You think you're gonna play with somebody that powerful? Peter was right there with Jesus, and they lied to Jesus. Ananias lied to Jesus and dropped dead. He dropped dead. When you had I'm going back up to the 4th verse on Acts, the 5th chapter. While you had the land, it was your own. After it was sold, you could have done as you pleased with the money. So how could you do a thing like this? You didn't lie to people, but to God. When Ananias heard Peter say this, he dropped dead. Everyone who heard about his death was terrified. Some young men got up, wrapped his body in a sheet, carried him outside, and buried him. About 3 hours later, Ananias' wife arrived. She didn't know what happened. So Peter asked her, tell me, did you sell the land for that price? She answered, yes, that was the price. So here's another person lying. His wife lying too. Then Peter said to her, how could you and your husband agree to test the Lord's Spirit? Those who buried your husband are standing at the door, and they will carry you outside for burial. Immediately, she dropped dead in front of Peter. She dropped dead. When the young man came back in, they found Sapphira dead. So they carried her outside and buried her next to her husband. The whole church and everyone else who heard about this, the whole church and everyone else who heard about what had happened were terrified. She just dropped dead. They just dropped dead. They just dropped dead. Okay, so there is real casualties in the kingdom of God, man. That's my point for bringing this up. There's real casualties. And those casualties get produced in different types of ways. The more you increase in anointing, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, okay? See, I'm going to use my life for example. When you increase in the anointing, let's just say from a backslidden state, and you just now getting back right with God, but people didn't realize while you was backsliding, obviously, that God's hand was still on you. See, that's why we got to even be careful when we start talking about deceivers, the wolves in sheep clothing, because we got to incorporate humanity into the situation. Where I can show you the best of them. Even Peter, denied Jesus Christ 3 times. Jesus said, before the cock crows 3 times, before the cock crows, you shall deny me 3 times, right? So I can show you over and over again that with the people that we do respect in the Word of God, where they made bad decisions, we have to be very careful. We don't mark people as wolves. You don't supposed to mark anybody. The truth be told. Okay, in this context, how people do it, in this modern day American church, if you see somebody and you correct them in the right spirit, right? If you know that they're not in the right spirit, I would say you remove them from leadership. But when it comes to saying they're not a Christian, that you have to be a master surgeon knowing what you're doing, because that person could be backsliding. That person could turn from their ways and God could have his hand on that person, even though they're not doing everything right. And see, when you American Christians see they ain't doing everything right, you think God ain't with them, because you ain't lived long enough as a Christian. That's what it is. Live long enough as a Christian like we have, and you begin to have more compassion, because you consider yourself and all the stuff you've done and how you backslid and all these things. So for me, I don't put my mouth on nobody that say they're a Christian and say they're a man of God or woman of God, but I don't see it adding up for whatever reason. I don't know why it's not adding up. I know that God could have his hand on them. See, mercy, the mercy of God could be on a servant to where God still does everything as usual. Under mercy, God will do everything as usual. What this means is, when God covers you with mercy, he's still going to protect you. He's still going to defend you. I've been through it, where people were sure, oh, God ain't going to defend me. This person, he backslid in having sex and everything. And I can show you how God defended me, because he did everything as usual, because he gave me mercy. See, when God gives you mercy, everything, people won't see. All they're going to see is you're wrong. But God is still doing everything as usual, meaning he's still blessing you. He's still, in many cases, I can't tailor make every situation, but the functionality of God's kingdom is still functioning in your life. God don't just drop you and then cast you to the side like men do. God don't do that. So then he still functions, his kingdom still functions in your life. Okay? Okay, so then if that's the case, then if you touch that person and God's kingdom is still functioning in that person's life, God's kingdom is still functioning in that person's life, then God is going to protect that person over you. When you thought you was in the right spirit and that person was in the wrong spirit, you can't just do it. You can't just touch somebody. You can't just play with people. That's why, see, for me, if you raised good, you wouldn't even have to be told as a Christian. Because when you're raised right, your family done told you, don't play with people. You don't know people, don't play with people. Don't talk to strangers. Your mom grew you up telling you that. So I don't feel sorry for people who wind up putting their mouth on people and wind up cursed in Christians. Christians can wind up cursed too. Oh yeah, just right there. These people that came to Peter was considered Christians. They died. And guess what? They went to hell because they lied. They went straight to hell. They ain't go to heaven because they lied. They didn't repent. They dropped dead. It's not a game, bro. That's what I'm saying. But you got to be very, very, very careful while we are trying to expose people, while people try to expose people or discern, what do you call discernment? You got to be very careful with that, because Everybody belongs to God. You know what I'm saying? It ain't your place to play Christian police. You know what I'm saying? Come on, let's keep it 100. You're not supposed to play Christian police. You know what I'm saying? So, it's a thin line between discernment and Christian police. You know what I'm saying? For real. I'm serious. You know what I'm saying? No, that ain't your position. And then when you find, and if you was raised right, you were real, at some point, even as a Christian, you going to fall back because you don't get that personal with people. You don't play around people. See, people that wasn't raised right and their mom them was extra ratchet and their family was extra ratchet, they ran around like little dirty little monsters when they was kids. And so when they grew up, they had no restraints because they wasn't taught restraints. Think about it. People that had drug addict mothers and fathers and alcoholic parents, they had no restraints. So when they grow up, many of them even can become Christians, but they have never known parental constraints. Boy. Hallelujah. That's revelation right there. And they come into being whatever vocation they choose in life without restraints, normal restraints that you and I have because we've been raised properly. You gotta practice reasonable human restraint even with correcting people, because you're talking to human beings. Them human beings could do something to you. I mean, I'm not saying be scared, but I mean, be in the real world and use common sense when you're talking to people and when you playing around people. Because you might act like you got a license to just play with people and God gives you wisdom. Or you might feel like you need to correct or talk to somebody, but God gonna give you wisdom on how to do that. Just use common sense. Just use good compassion. You know what I'm saying? That's all you gotta do. You just use good compassion and good common sense of how you approach people when you are even finding them guilty in something. How would you want somebody to talk to you if you was guilty of something? How would you want somebody to deal with you if you were guilty with something where you could receive it the right way? You understand? Because it's a right way and the wrong way to do anything. You could do the right thing, but you did it the wrong way. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like, for me, personally, I don't deal with all this correcting people. I miss people. I let people miss me with their foolishness, right? But just going in after people, I don't play those positions. I mean, maybe because I'm too high ranking, my main position is America, correcting America. We're marrying these children. As a prophet, I'm talking about that. Because there's no excuse for that. That's not being judgmental. That's exposing hypocrisy. That's what we really need to be looking at. Now, I'm not saying I can't dress a person, because obviously sometimes it calls for it, no matter how high ranking you are. But my mind is focused on these people out here that's making these laws to let people just permit to them to do what they want to do. And everybody, once they find good information, you see how people act, the community act, like you ain't said nothing, like if they bipolar or something. Okay, they always looking for something to expose somebody of. But when we find the best information, look how the community reacts. The best information is the America marrying children. That's the best information. And look how the community react, like they bipolar. I'm serious. But they ain't gonna tell them something lower level than that, as far as exposing, and they want to eat that up. See, man, but that's why people ain't really about that life. Nah, man, no. Because as soon as you heard this about America marrying children, you couldn't go no further. You'll be stuck on that. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't pay people no attention, man. I know they're not really serious about what they project themselves to be serious about. They're not that serious about it. Nah. But but it's just a real casualty. Like, and I'm just being transparent, just kind of piggybacking off of the people dropping dead in front of Peter. You know what I'm saying? That happened, right? I fasted against people and they died. Okay? And I didn't use any rituals, no witchcraft. I did a fast unto the Lord, and they died. You know? And that was casualties in this war. When you start rising in rank, back full circle to backsliding and all of that, and people didn't know who I was, and they seen me backsliding, right? When I came back to the Lord and got myself clean and start fasting, and also started increasing in rank from where I was left off and just growing, right? Right before their very eyes, I'm growing. And I'm becoming more dangerous to tamper with every day. Every day I'm becoming more dangerous to tamper with, which means you're going to start seeing people just drop dead. Stuff start happening to them for playing with God's kingdom. You're going to see people dead. But in the right places, where more times than not in my situation, I've seen people die in the right places. Not just some no-name people that, you know, they done took up some cause to fight you. You know what I'm saying? We'll get to them later. Right now, we get into those who matter the most. Don't forget, man, Trump almost got his head blowed off last year. While everybody think it's all good, Trump almost got his head blowed off. Just last year. Just last year, buddy. Trump almost got his head blowed off last year. I mean, and everybody acting like he MacGyver this year. Well, Trump done turned to MacGyver. Trump is MacGyver. Trump is MacGyver reincarnated. Trump done turned to MacGyver. Trump done turned to MacGyver. Trump MacGyver now, ain't he? He MacGyver now, ain't he? Hey, Trump is MacGyver now, ain't he? Trump is MacGyver now, ain't he? MacGyver time was a good time. See, I grew up on MacGyver and all that stuff. Kids don't know nothing about that in MacGyver. Who is MacGyver? Who is MacGyver? MacGyver. Who is MacGyver? Your kids calling him MacGyver. Who is MacGyver? Hey man, look man. No matter how much Trump trying to be MacGyver, he almost got his head blown off last year. I mean, the bullet was grazed his ear. He felt the heat from the bullets, buddy. If that had been 3 inches, even 4 inches to his left, he would have been dead. It would have came out of his face. The bullet would have came, extra wound would have came out of his face. Because it already was near his ear, right? It grazed his ear. If it was 4 inches to the left, it would have went through the back of his ear, head, around back of his ear. That would have went through the base of his skull and came out the side of his face, under his eye somewhere. You forget so quickly that Trump almost got killed last year. Last year. Why everybody is so confident in what Trump is doing, Trump almost got his head blowed off last year, buddy. But you forgot. Because you know what? As an American, you're taught to digest information like fast food. It's just on to this next information. To where you're not even conscious of the reality that's behind us a lot of times. And you don't put 2 and 2 together what can happen again, or what can happen in the future, or what can happen in the time ahead of us. Trump almost got his head blown off last year. That's all I'm saying. And I was sitting back in the same position watching. Now that you know me, I was sitting right back here. I was just like this. You can go back and check the dates on my videos. I'm pretty sure I made videos all around that time. And I was in the same position. That's why I be tripping off y'all. When y'all think y'all got it all together, I'm so conscious of all the stuff that has already happened. Trump almost got killed last year, man. Head almost blowed off when nobody could have done nothing about it. And probably what stopped it was the windshield. That's probably what made it happen, stop it. The boy probably was right on target, but he didn't consider the wind. He didn't he didn't stand there long enough to feel the wind and which way it was resisting or going. And to make your shot based on the resistance, the pushing of the wind. If you know it's pushing to the right, that's going to be against your shot that you need to go to the left. So you're going to have to go more into the left so that the wind will carry it more to the right and it'll be right on target. If you just put it right there and then the wind is pushing to the right, that's why I didn't make it. That's how you know he was an amateur shot. He was right. He could have had it right there. Why didn't he get it? Because with a head shot now, with a head shot in the scope, and because he did not consider the wind, I guarantee you. Because the bullet is going to be carried by the wind. It's going in the wind, in other words. If you don't add that into your target, right? If you don't equate that into it, the bullet's gonna carry your shot, your target, your bullet. The wind's gonna carry it. It's gonna make it off. So once you decide you can feel the wind coming which way, just for a split second, okay, it's coming this way, right? You feel it coming from that side, right? That means it's going to that side. So then I'm gonna have to go deeper into the left, the opposite direction, because it's gonna be resistance from the wind carrying my bullet. That's the only reason the shot didn't make it. He was a young gun, literally, no pun intended. He was a young gun. He didn't consider the wind carrying his bullets. You talking about shots now. If you shooting a whole bunch, you're gonna kill somebody. But you talking about sniper shots. You gotta consider the wind to make that shot. See, I just educated myself, that's all. With all this stuff that's online, these video games and all of that, I educated myself with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's certain understanding that comes from them games. You know what I'm saying? And windshield is one of them. When you got a sniper bullet, windshield is what you're gonna fight in the real world. See, some of them games could be used for the military to teach people the wiring or the matrix of being a shooter or a sniper. You take it as a video game, and it's educational it could be educational for the military. It's just depending on what level of maturity your mind is on. Because I guarantee you, I can get grown man information from these little games. Okay? And that's what made that shot off, because it wasn't no luck or it wasn't God protecting Trump. It was the boy didn't know about the windshield, the resistance of the wind to your shot. That's all it was. Because if he would have went more further left, then hello. So he just hit it right on target. If he would have went way left, he obviously didn't go way left, because the bullet was just barely went to the left on Trump's head, on his right ear. So, but if he had went further to the left, how he wouldn't have made the shot? Which tells you the shot was just without consideration of the wind. You didn't consider it. which means he should have been way, way more left, where it was on the other side of Trump's head and he wouldn't have missed. If he would have went a little off on the left other side of Trump's head, the bullet would have been carried by the wind and it would have hit him. I want you to think, well, listen, hey, I want you to know how dangerous I am, but I know how to control it. You know what I'm saying? I know how. I'm just telling you why it didn't happen. You know what I'm saying? But, so anyway, you know, you got to be conscious of that kind of stuff, about this real stuff that's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to stay conscious of it. So, when it comes to this spiritual war, man, there's real casualties. Like, it was this person that was around me, and I think he went back to the community and started talking about stuff that he had no business talking about. I just feel this way. I just feel that that's what happened. But this was a good dear friend at one time in my life. But I think with all the gang stalking and everything, he went to the community. I feel he did. I can't tell you who it was, but I think he was talking to somebody, and he wound up talking to one of these gang stalkers about me. Now he could talk all day about himself, but I think somewhere along the way he talked to one of these people around me. I mean, about me, right? So, with that being said, you know, I did a fast, and he died 4 months later. Okay? When I talked to him, he had no problems, no physical problems. He had no physical problems. Now, after the fast, 4 months in, he died. See, you thought I was a toy soldier. I'm not a toy soldier, bro. I told you. I grew up shooting guns. I told people this. I pay attention. I pay attention to marksmanship and all of that. Okay? I went beyond just thinking about a gun. I went to marksmanship. You know, and some people don't. You know, the best shots are going to be those who enjoy marksmanship, shooting targets, and understanding the art of shooting targets. You know, those are going to be the best. You know, so, you know, yeah, and then another guy, you know, I was just holding down another country, and I've been international with this, man. So it's another guy in another country, and he betrayed his country, and that country I was loyal to, and I decided to do a fast against that person. He died. So for me, that's 2 casualties in my situation that I caught. You know, not to mention all this stuff that's going on, all these people dying around here in Brooklyn, and all these random fires. That's probably all casualties in this spiritual war. And so just like Peter had to see casualties. He seen these 2 people die right in front of him and drop dead. Can you imagine his level of spirituality after that? It wasn't just church as usual. Not for Peter, because Peter seen somebody die right in front of him like that in this spiritual war. See, some people, you know, you didn't go high enough in your spirituality to start seeing casualties. You know what I'm saying? And you may never go high enough to see no casualties. I have. People that I focused on with spirituality, they died. That's why I tell people, beware, man. Beware of what you're playing with. Because if you think this is good church as usual, you think this is Christendom as usual, it's not. I'm all about spirituality because it's what's effective for this situation. You know what I'm saying? Loving people. We're in the evil last time. I'm not saying you can't love people, but what I'm telling you is to be reasonable with common sense. If people are plotting against you and conspiring against you and have you under surveillance, they have to die. That's not no time to be praying and let them. The type of people, which I've covered in the other video, are those who work in wickedness. They are those who work in wickedness, right? And they took oaths to do wicked things. They're not just a sinner. A sinner could be, like I explained in the other video, somebody that smokes a blunt, drink on the weekend, and pass out on their couch, right? Every night they drink and pass out. That's a sinner. A wicked person is somebody, in this context, is someone who operates in the satanic kingdom. They have an operation, whether it's being demonically possessed or they took up some rituals or some oaths and things like that. That's a person that is the wicked. That's the wicked, right? So your approach to the wicked has to be different than your approach to the sinner, the guy that's smoking weed and passing out on his couch. And you may think it's a matter of strength of the evangelist, to where one can witness to the sinner and the other one can't, or one can witness to the wicked and the other can't. It's not a matter of that, because God will come in and determine what needs to happen. Now see, that's the part right there where you stay submitted. See, many of you Christians in America are not submitted to God's will. God may want to kill this person, because God gonna see way more. This is what you got to consider. God is gonna see way more than you about this situation. He gonna see a million infinite times more about that person and all the stuff they saying about you and me and Christians and what they doing. And you just know bits and pieces. And what you're gonna do is form your perspective on the situation on bits and pieces, and God knows the entirety and the totality of what that person is saying against us and doing against us. That's why you gotta listen very closely to what God wants to do, because God knows more than you about the situation, and that's why. You don't really know. You don't know what that person is about to do to you or try to do to you, but you up there praying. So you become a religious person. And you even I've explained this before, and I'm going to do a whole video about this. Non-denominational has become even traditional religion, because they stuck in the past. They stuck in like 2004. It's not 2004 anymore in the spiritual world. So now I see signs as a prophet of the non-denominational church becoming religious. You thought you would have never seen the day that happened. Many of them have. I'm not saying all. I'm not saying all. Some people's heart is in the right place, but you got a lot of religious people, non-denominational people that have become traditional religious people according to the times and the movements, where we now sound radical. Now we sound like non-denominational back in the 90s and the 2004s, right? I sound like them now. Non-denominational, you know what I'm saying? And just able to understand the fullness of God. Because see, where we took off on non-denominational is the gang stalking. They not addressing the gang stalking. So how you going to be an effective preacher? It's about being effective. How you gonna be effective when all these Christians in America is going through it? It's undeniable. It's undeniable. It's a whole community going through it. They talking about the same thing. How in the world that's possible? We can't all be schizophrenic and paranoid and bipolar. How all these people schizophrenic? How all of them bipolar? All of them talking about it. That's what I'm saying. How is that possible? We all talk about the same problems. We all talk about the same thing. So then see, the times changed. And now, me, high ranking as I am, I don't even listen to non-denominational evangelists on TV anymore. Really, I might check in with some people that I care about that's non-denominational on TV, but I can count on one hand who that is, because yeah, I can count on one hand, because we in a different season and they're not addressing the things that's going on in the real world. At one time they did, but not now. That's why I said, like, non-denominational churches, many of them are becoming religious. That's why they don't understand us, and the world don't understand us, because we're responding to the gang stalking, and they don't know why Christians are like this, because we're responding to the gang stalking. That's why we're not playing. I'm not playing a game. I'm not trying to be cool. I'm not trying to be a tough guy. I'm responding to the gang stalking. If I would have been left alone, you wouldn't have seen me like this. This is how a Christian looks when we go to war. And they didn't think it was possible, because they used to these Ned Flanders Christians. Bump if you love Jesus. Bump your horn if you love Jesus. Yeah. You used to a Ned Flanders Christian, bro. I'm not a Ned Flanders Christian. I'm dead serious. That shows you what they think about Christianity. With Ned Flanders, the character Ned Flanders. It's not a game. It's people who really have spiritual power. And that's another thing America's not used to. One person or people with spiritual power that God honors, and he honors their request. He honors what they're talking about. He considers what they're going through and what they're talking about. Yeah, you think we're being narcissistic or we're arrogant. You think we're weirdos that are conceited and think that God is going to help us. See, I know how people think. Like, we just bugged out thinking God, we got this hotline to God and we just tripping. That's not what it is. I'm going to tell you what it is. God has always protected those who are his true people. And it don't matter if it's one person. It could be one person. God has showed consistently over and over again. Over and over again, God has showed this protection over one person, over a whole world and community. I can show you with Noah. Noah and his family was the only one saved. All the people, all the teenagers, and all the kids died in the flood. In the flood, which was the first end of the world. There was only Noah. God did not save, no one else was saved. All the children, all the teenagers, all the babies, all of them drowned to death. Which is one of the worst deaths you can die. God didn't save nobody but Noah and his family. Sodom and Gomorrah, Lot and his wife, they was only saved. This whole Sodom and Gomorrah died. It wasn't trying to talk to them, trying to do that. No. It comes a time where there's no more talking. You look at Adam, you look at Lot and his wife. It came a time where there's no more talking. Sodom and Gomorrah died. No more talking. No more trying to talk to them. No. See, that part right there is for the spiritual mature, where you realize it's no more time for talking. No. Ain't no more time for talking. It's no more time for it. And if you're not discerning of that, you'll be sitting up praying for people, trying to evangelize people, and then you're not considering the elements and dynamics of judgment. That time is over. God has decided to go ahead and wash them away. It ain't nothing you can do about it. It ain't nothing. That's what I'm saying. When men use their free will, this is why the American church is kind of thrown off, because you already got a timeline of everything that God gonna do. You already know what you think what's gonna happen. Okay, the rapture probably gonna happen. The mark of the beast is gonna come. You got this timeline in your head. How I know? Because I used to kind of be like that. You got this timeline in your head of what all the events that's gonna happen and how it's gonna happen. But you have not considered that man can use their free will to cause evil to come upon them. And your timeline doesn't have that judgment, because how could you predict that? Make sense? So the things that you couldn't predict, because you don't know how man is going to use their free will, you don't know what's coming. You don't know what's happening. And then you're not even looking at it. And then you might not even know about it. This is why you have to ask God to show you. Show me what really is going on. You know? And then, listen, that's how confident I am in this situation. God will show you everything that's going on. But you got to accept it for what it is. See, the truth is, some of y'all are too scared to face the music, to face the truth, which is America has done a lot of evil against God's people. That's just what it is, man. That's just what it is. Okay, and they're not gonna wash us away and live some kind of other life, like some little fantasy world where they wash us away and live. It's not gonna happen this time. This time, that's why you have to pay attention to seasons and times. This time, they don't live. Okay, I'm telling you this, and that's what it is. Now another time, some of y'all going by other times. Well, look at what they did to Martin Luther King Jr. Look what they did to Malcolm X. That's not this time. Listen, I hate to talk to you like you're 3 years old. That's not this time. That's not this time. This is not Martin Luther King Jr. time. This is not Malcolm X time. Because neither one of them were prophets. Malcolm X was no prophet. He was in a false religion. Okay? He had a chance when he could have went to Christianity, but what he saw was white American Christianity that didn't teach the full entirety of Christianity. This is why he criticized Christianity, but the truth is, he really criticized the teachings of Christianity, because he felt like it wasn't time to turn the other cheek. He referenced that all the time in his messages, where it's not. He would say it's not time to turn the other cheek. He would even talk about Christians that talk this way, because it just didn't make sense to turn the other cheek in some cases. You know what I'm saying? And so he was really ahead of his time. I'm not saying he could have not been. He could have been a prophet, but he went into Islam. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm smart enough to know even some prophets that could be born prophets go into Islam or other religions, or they become secular. They become singers, rappers, and everything. They can become Muslims too. But the bottom line is, he was not in a position of a prophet. You can't fight America without being in your spiritual position. That's why people get washed up, because it's spiritual warfare that comes with that. You can't be on top of the world and you ain't got God with you. That's what happened to Malcolm X and MLK. That's why I'm going to do a teaching about the spiritual warfare of Malcolm X and MLK, because it was spiritual warfare behind it. You can see it with MLK. It was Edgar Hoover. He was the one that was following Martin Luther King Jr. all around. Edgar Hoover was the leader for the FBI, and he was a Freemason, right? He was gang stalking, basically. Martin Luther King Jr. sending tapes to his wife of him having sex with another woman. That's gang stalking. That's what he was doing. That's what he was doing before the term came out. That's what he was doing. And I'm pretty sure there was other forces gang stalking Malcolm X. You can't fight the Americans without God's spirit, without really being in the righteous position. You can't play games. And that's in MLK. He was slipping, smoking cigarettes, having sex with other women. You can't be in that. You can't fight spiritual war, having sex with other women and smoking and all of that. You gotta tighten up. You gotta tighten up. That's why he fell off. If he would have really been in a righteous position, he wouldn't have died. You can't fight these forces without righteousness and purity. You can't be slipping and then we find out you was having sex with other women. The devil gonna come right in. The devil gonna, I'm talking about spiritual warfare, his kingdom gonna come right in. Oh yeah, we got him. He having sex with other women. We can do whatever. We can bring the spirit of death. We can bring all these spirits. Let's line this up. Oh yeah, he having sex with other women. We got legal right. God is not gonna protect this person. Usually, this is what the devil say. Usually, if he's having sex with other women, he's committing adultery. God seen it all, buddy. God seen everything. Martin Luther King Jr. came out here to the community, but he cheating on his wife. You know what I'm saying? And you might not want to look at it like that, but it's another scandalous situation. It really is. When you realize he was doing that. Right. Okay. But you say that's the best. Okay, I mean, you know, if that's your top five, if that's your top five, okay. If he in your top five, okay. But for me, like I've said before, many men wouldn't even respect Martin Luther King Jr. because he cheated on his wife while they was together. Most family men gonna say, well, I don't respect Martin Luther King Jr. because his wife was holding him down while he was running around the country, and he should have been faithful. It would have been beautiful if he would have been faithful to that one woman. But he didn't do that. And real men are doing that. Real men are doing something that Martin Luther King Jr. did not do, which is stand faithful to their wife. So some men wouldn't even respect him. Why you talking about he the best? I can show you men that wouldn't even respect Martin Luther King Jr.'s legacy just because how he did that. You're supposed to hold your wife down. If you on the road and you supposed to be saying, hey baby, I'm over here in this city, I'm over here, I can't wait to get back to you, I can't wait for us to get together. That's how you're supposed to do. Be anticipating your wife, not anticipating no other woman. You know what I'm saying? So some people don't even got respect for him because of that. That alone. That you can't even talk to wholesome men when you having sex on your wife. You can't talk to wholesome men. You can't. You can't talk to a family man and tell him to do the right thing and be with your woman. You're not doing it. How you can tell me to do it? I'm just letting you know. These men that you see, their outcome, they didn't do the things the right way. And so you look at me like that's my outcome, but I'm doing things the right way. So now you finally see somebody fight the Americans the right way. And so you can't give me the outcome of MLK. He was cheating on his wife. I can show you as a prophet that's why he was slipping. Spiritually, where the devil had right to come in, legal right to come into his life. Once you commit, any Christian, any preacher gonna tell you this is true. If you are at the top of America and you talk about all these politics and all this stuff and you having this grand impact, the devil is waiting for a way in. He trying to get in. The devil sitting back watching. Okay, he see, he cheated on his wife. Whoa. The devil saying, whoa. He gonna send all them imps. Go ahead, go get. Y'all know what to do. Oh, we got this one. Oh yeah. Ain't no angels gonna be protecting him. And see, that's what it boiled down to. No, ain't no angels gonna be protecting him. He's supposed to be a man of integrity, of honor and integrity. You're dishonorable cheating on your wife. And even though you repent or you turn from it, you still didn't have God's protection because you didn't repent to God. Man, most likely not. Let's keep it 100. He did not most likely totally turn to God after that. No. He was smoking. You gotta be on your A game. You gotta be. And if you up that high like that, for us as Christians, we get chances to I'm not condoning it, where we could get off and do a little something here and there, right? But you ain't really got no opposition. So you can kind of get away with it, so to speak, where you don't have to deal with a whole bunch of demonic powers and strength and attacks. MLK was at the top of the world. You can't be, it's no room for error. That is that big. No. You can't be having sex with no other women and you on at the top of the world. This was a spiritual war. That wasn't just a physical, that was a spiritual war. Everybody can tell you that. That was definitely a spiritual war. It made a spiritual war, that's for sure. It made a spiritual war, I tell you that. Them devils was everywhere. Them devils was stirred up. And if you don't got no spiritual warriors around, see, if now these days, if there was like a Martin Luther King character, there would be spiritual advisors that talk to him about spiritual warfare and how you got to be clean, buddy. You can't be making no major mistakes like that. You can't be out here putting penis in another woman. You know what I'm saying? No, you can't. You can't. And see, look what the forces did. Look what Edgar Hoover did. See, he was attacking him morally because he couldn't arrest him for it, obviously. So then what he gonna do? He gonna rub his nose in it. He gonna send it to his wife. That's what he did. That's what Edgar Hoover did. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to assassinate his character. That's how you know he was racist. Because that really wasn't nothing to arrest him for. That was not something he should even sent the tapes out for, but he did. But at the same time, though, back to the spiritual warfare, you can't be slipping. That's why I'm like this. This is why I'm like, because I know what I'm doing, and I know I can't be doing all that stuff I used to do. Not me. Now, the next mate, that's why you got to be sharp on your game. You are not these other people. I'm not these other people. I can't move like y'all can and be out here slipping on this and slipping on that. That's why I deserve respect. The Bible says give respect where respect is due. Give honor where honor is due. And that's one thing the church don't do in America. You don't give, the Bible says give respect where respect is due. Give honor where honor is due. You're not worshiping me. You just acknowledging the rank that the person is. You're acknowledging the rank of the person based on their activities and based on what they're doing. But see, the Bible also says, let another man praise you and not your own mouth. So God gives room for other men to praise you and not your own mouth. So, but it is room for other men to praise you. See, this is the part that American Christians don't understand. So when you find somebody praising this person for that, you think it's out of pocket. You think it, but then the Bible says, let other men praise you and not your own mouth. So it gives room for that. Legally, spiritually. But as soon as it happened, oh, that's a code. They shouldn't even be praising man. Okay, you ignorant of the Bible. They shouldn't even be giving no respect to man or honor to man. Oh, you ignorant of the Bible. The Bible says give respect where respect is due. Give honor to whom honor is due. Who you think gonna be first in line, who that applies to? God's people. You're gonna be giving respect and honor to them before you give respect and honor to anybody else. But I can show you how Christians got it backwards, and they'll halfway worship and praise these rappers, these celebrities, but then you will look at the man of God and say, well, nah, I ain't gonna give him we shouldn't be praising man, but I can show you how you did it over there. Referencing all these rappers in your messages, referencing all these cultural terms in your messages, which means they still got praise. You still praise them to a certain degree because you keep referencing to what they've said or what they say in their music. And I'm smart enough and cultured enough to know you're referencing to these rappers, which means you praise these people, but then you don't praise the man of God. You don't respect the man of God or honor the man of God because there's been so much stuff that happened in the American church. You can't even find Christians. I'm talking about anointed Christians that have healthy praise and respect and honor for men of God and women of God. I'm talking about anointed people. that really are following God. That's how much stuff done went on. But I give respect where respect is due. I give honor where honor is due when it makes sense. But I can show you healthy Christians that don't do it at all. But the Bible tells you to. You see what I'm saying? That's why, so, you know, man, people think they slick on their word. You know what I'm saying? But they not as slick on their word as they think they are. It's those little scriptures I look for like that. You know what I'm saying? Well, you got to agree with what I'm talking about. It says, give respect where respect is due. Give honor where honor is due. What kind of respect and honor is people giving? They not giving it. They not giving it. But the Bible says to give it. And obviously it's going to be given to God's people first, of course. If the Bible is telling you to give respect where respect is due and give honor where honor is due, who God going to be telling you to do that to first? Who's going to be the people? God's people. But I can show you how American Christians won't even do it. They'll sit up and say, I'm man. That's how they'll put it. Am I right or wrong? We don't fear nobody but God. Okay? That's how it's supposed to be. However, if you fear God, don't you fear playing with his people? If you fear God, don't you fear playing with his children? That's just common sense. If I got children myself, right? You fear me, right? Wouldn't you fear the outcome of playing with my children? If you fear me now, I'm not the smartest man in the world. I'm just putting it together like this. If you fear me, right? Wouldn't be the worst thing you could do is playing around my children? That's going to be the worst thing you could do. That's going to be one of the worst things you can do. And people sit up saying, well, I don't fear nobody but God. You're so ignorant, it don't even make no sense, bro. You ain't even thought about practical, reasonable things like God defending his own people. Right. Not you doing it. We don't need you to do it. If you fear God, you should fear playing around his children. That's common sense. To me, I don't know. Maybe I just think a little more than you do. Cause I know if I fear God, then I'm definitely, and I know these are real people of God. You know what I'm saying? Are they perfect? No. So I ain't waiting for them to be perfect. I ain't taking no chances. I'm wise enough. See, your mistake is you took chances because you thought you ain't know if a person was of God or not. It's not for you to know. Soon as somebody say they're a Christian, you fall back. That's it. That's it for me. I'm not, listen, bro. Like I said, I don't get off on these lanes where I try to figure out if somebody's a Christian or not. Listen, bro, it's too dangerous. Now you understand firsthand how dangerous it is. It's too dangerous to be playing around somebody and they say they telling you they're a Christian and they fasting and they seeking God and talking about God all the time. No way, bro. Listen, if they listen, I'm not even gonna look their way. I'm gonna be thinking about something else. So it's kind of funny. The person that is a special kind of retarded, you know, that sit up and think about this person. You know what I'm saying? Because if you so secular and worldly, you shouldn't even be thinking about this person that's talking about God all the time. You should be somewhere else, over where. You see this person talking about God. Oh, that shouldn't interest you at all. Not you. You should be, this person shouldn't interest you at all. You should lose interest. After he started talking about God, he or she started talking about God, you shouldn't even have no interest in that person. You should be thinking, oh, okay, that person ain't over here with us, so we don't care. And that's what most people gonna say. Oh, they ain't over here with us. They ain't out here. As long as he ain't out here in the game, we don't care. Now, if he or she come out here in the game, then we gonna feel like, okay, they out here hustling, they out here thugging and everything. You know what I'm saying? That's how the streets gonna look at it. The streets gonna look at it, they out the way. That's all we talking about. Long as they out the way and they ain't out here, you know what I'm saying? We don't see it the way, we ain't splitting hairs about this person. They out the way. That's all we talking about. Now, if they taking money out of my pocket and on the block and they talking about they Christian, but they stealing money clientele and sales out here in the streets, now then we gonna feel some type of way. We gonna feel like it's just disgustingly hypocritical, you know. But if this person is out the way and we clearly see that, nah, we don't want no parts of that. That's the real streets. I already know how the streets think. You ain't gotta tell me about it. I know about it. Ain't no street people coming out here for somebody that proclaims to be a Christian that's out the way. You don't even see them out here. Nah, they ain't messing with that person. Cause all they care about is the block. I'm not saying that in a funny way, but that's it. All they care about is who all out there and everything, and everyday thing, everything that's going on all the time. You know what I'm saying? That's as far as they go in their mind, to be honest. Is the block, the hood, and everything else. If ain't nothing affecting that and the person ain't incorporated into that, they don't want nothing to do with it. It don't make sense to them. And see, that's how we know who ain't street people. Street person gonna say, man, they ain't out here in the mix every day out here when we get money out here. Man, come on, that ain't in our world. That's how we see it. I know they gonna see me like that. Like, he not in our world. And we're not in his, you know what I'm saying? So that's where we leave it at. Now, if he came out here in the streets, even if he did come out, as long as he don't violate us, we don't care. Even with that being said, I mean, you know, that's between him and God. If he served God for real or not. But if he come out here, we ain't even gonna do nothing to him then unless he violate us. Now we gonna feel like he's a negative force. Finally. And then that's when we'll have problems. If he ain't coming out here and stepping on my toes, and he ain't getting no money off of me, and he ain't stepping on these blocks and playing with my money, this is the real dude. That man, I ain't even thinking about that at all. All I can think about is getting to the bag. That's what a street dude gonna tell you. All I can think about is getting to the bag, man. Anybody else doing anything and they doing anything else is uncivilized. You know what I'm saying? They gonna be the ones left behind when all this stuff get pop off. We out here getting money, saving our money. These people are idle. You know what they say? The idle mind is the devil's workshop. That's what's wrong with them folks. They focus on things they should be focused on. The devil playing with their mind. The idle mind is the devil's workshop. That's what we say in the South. Black people say in the South, the idle mind is the devil's workshop. You ain't got nothing on your mind, the devil gonna play with your mind, buddy. But if you busy working and doing stuff, you ain't got no real time for the devil. You work, you come home, you chill with your loved ones, your wife. You ain't got no time for no gang stalking and thinking about what some dude is doing, some Christian man is doing. You ain't got no time. Real men, that's how I know I ain't dealing with real men. Real men ain't got no time for it, buddy. I guess you didn't think I realized life and what it consists of in here. Up in here. You know, I know what life consists of. I know what real men do and what they don't do. And a real man ain't paying attention to no Christian for no reason. You know, yeah. And he ain't doing nothing. He out the way. You barely see him. You barely see him twice a month. That's about it. Man, come on. No, ain't no way in the world. You see him twice a month? No. You don't even see him 5 times a month. And what's going on? Man, come on. Can't be serious. Real man gonna be sitting there with his kids and with his wife, man. I ain't got no time for that. And they wouldn't have no time for it if they were getting money. That's how you know they idle-minded and they broke. Because if they listen, a real man gonna say if they was getting money, you wouldn't have no time to focus on that. You know what I'm saying? That's all we know. You ain't getting no money. You ain't getting no real money, not no significant money, because it wouldn't. If you was getting significant money, you wouldn't be right there. You wouldn't be in that situation. You'll leave that peanuts to go get real money. You know what I'm saying? That's how we know you ain't getting no money. So then them type of people, I don't relate to them. That's what the streets gonna say. That's fully what the streets gonna say in so many words. I guarantee you, all these real ones out here, that's all they talk about. They gonna say, man, I don't disrespect him. He a man of God. He fasting. He seek the Lord. He getting spiritual results. I salute that. But these other people, they hiding behind what he doing, and then when we look at what they doing nothing. So they done made themselves special by playing around him. He's special, but they not. What they special for? So then I'm smart enough to know as a hustler, you made yourself special off of him being special. You made it your job to be behind him because you ain't nothing without him. So you trying to ride his wave by being his enemy. You clout chasing. That's what we call it. See, I'm young enough to know that kind of stuff. That ain't nothing but clout chasing. Them lames, them clout chasers. They trying to come up off somebody else's name. That's all it is. That's why we ignore them. I don't know, because I'm too sharp on my game. You know what I'm saying? I ain't giving you no publicity. That's why I don't really mention no secret societies like that no more. Because now I know the lanes they are. I'm not giving, and I know what you stand for, which is cloud chasing and all of that. I ain't giving you no publicity. We ain't giving you no more publicity. If you smart, you caught on to it. Because you seen who they really were. And you realize, man, these lames, bruh. These are cloud chasing lames, bruh. Straight like that. And how we know? Because you can't get your own name in your own game. You ain't got your own thing going on. You a cripple depending on these groups. But you can't get your own respect out the mud by yourself as a person. So all you did was just go run to these secret societies so you could get success in life. When made men, black men, don't got no groups to run to on the average situation. Obviously not. You get your respect out the mud. That's why we don't respect them. That's another reason we don't respect them. All they did was piggyback off of these white people, these fraternities. They've been around 100 years. So for you to align yourself with something been around 100 years, it's nothing to us. Because they had 100 years to network and get out here and do that, and then you just piggybacked off of it like you got your respect out the mud. That's a 7 out. You ain't getting no respect out the mud. You just got in this group, aligned yourself with this group that's been working for hundreds of years. You know what I'm saying? Come on. That white boy money, that white boy fame, that's all it is. And no matter how you try to jazz it up and reboot it and repackage it and reinvent yourself, at secret societies, it's still white boy fame and it's still white boy networking. That's all it is. And then they gonna come out here like they got it out the mud. It's no different than a dude that work at Walmart, but he got all these tats on his face and all this gold, but you ain't out here thugging. But you go out here to the streets and act like, and get you a little pistol and everything, but you act like you got your respect out the mud, like you out here hustling like the gangsters, but you not. You got your respect, you got your money from Walmart. You got your respect from Walmart. And that's okay. But don't come out here in front like you getting it out the mud. And that's what dudes do at Walmart. Got tats all on their face and everything. You know what I'm saying? Got pistols acting like they thugging. You ain't thugging, bro. It's no difference. These secret societies come out here. You getting your respect off these secret societies like you working for Walmart. You ain't sold anything you project yourself is not from the streets. You ain't getting it out the streets. You not getting it out the street. And if you are, it still doesn't represent your organization. That represents you as an individual. Most of these people ain't getting nothing out the mud. They ain't getting nothing out the streets. And we ain't gonna let them act like they align with the streets. I'm more aligned with the streets than they are because I'm part of the jungle and I address real issues. I'm the top of the jungle. God gonna make sure I'm the top of the jungle. Now they are not. They just networked over there on the side, but not really out here in the jungle. And now they trying to play it like they align with the streets. They not. They not aligned with the streets. That's fake. That's what they doing now. All that out there. That's all acting like they align with the streets, and that's all white boy networking. That's all white boy organizations and fraternities. Now you can't tell me I'm ignorant. I broke it down to you. And another thing is these secret societies sat back and watched racism the whole time. They all did. That's the main complaint I got as a black man. All these secret societies been here, these fraternities been here this whole time, and you just sat back and watched racism the whole time. Now all of a sudden you for the community. Black people should never be sold on no secret society, because the first thing you're going to say, y'all sit up and was networking and making money and networking and making money, but y'all never did nothing about black community being discriminated against and brutality and racism in America. You sat back and did nothing. Freemasons did basically nothing. That's how you got to look at it. All they going to show you is who they align themselves with. They're going to show you they supported this, they supported that. But we can't look to one of them that stepped out and said something about this stuff. To the community, to the public. You can't even show me a famous Freemason that's black that we respect. Show me one. We don't. Martin Luther King Jr., his whole family was Freemasons. And I know about it. I'm educated. They was going to make him a Freemason before he died. He died and they still made him a Freemason after his death, called On Sight, which they made him a Freemason after he passed away. So technically speaking, according to the wishes of the Freemasons, Martin Luther King Jr. is a Freemason. They made him one after his death. Go look it up. It's called, the term for it is called On Sight. When they make someone a Freemason after their death, because his dad was a Freemason and his grandfather was a Freemason. So they felt that it was acceptable, if that makes sense. He came from 2 generations of Freemason. That's why he tried to use Gandhi approach, and Malcolm X wasn't talking about Gandhi's approach. Gandhi's approach worked in India. It couldn't work with racist white people. But see, that's what the Freemasons do, is put all these informations together like a gumbo, and you wind up doing stuff that seems smart, but it doesn't work. That's what happens to a person who doesn't choose a certain direction with information. You just you got all these informations. And he's no different. He probably was taught about Gandhi from his dad, his granddad. You know what I'm saying? He thought he could take that nonviolent approach, but it did not work in America. And it still don't work in America. Nonviolence I'm not reciting to do violence, but my point is they will see you nonviolent and will still hurt you. They will step on your heart while you're trying to give them love. And that's facts. America will step on your heart and make you a sacrificial deer or lamb, and make you give up the ghost from being out here and loving these people. Malcolm X didn't believe in that. If Malcolm X seen what people were doing to me, he would tell me to do exactly what I'm doing. Go to war. Go to war, buddy. Do what you're doing. It's working. That's good. It's working. And it's good. You ain't really got to be out here physically. But don't stop that. And don't stop the way you think. These people play with you? No. Ain't no talking. Ain't no negotiation. See, that's the difference between Malcolm X and MLK. People ain't stupid. They know what they're doing. Okay, then. So then you adjust to what they doing. You don't sit up and try to make sense of foolishness. You don't sit up and try to make sense of these dummies that's playing with you for their own fun. Cause you in this washed up fraternity and you think you're cool and you're not. You're not relevant anymore. You're not appealing to us anymore. And you're just a clown like you in high school or college trying to fit in and be the top of the class and be these alpha males. That's not working. That's not working. Because the streets is everything now and you can't get in. You can go out there and manipulate with money and drugs and all of that, but you still ain't gonna get certain respect that we get. And that's what's gonna make you lose when it comes to me. That extra respect that I get that you don't get, that's what's gonna make me beat you. That's what's gonna make me beat all these suckers in the field. That extra respect that I get for my position that you don't get for your position. And all you can do is manipulate with money and drugs and females and all of that. But eventually that's gonna play out because people gonna see the sky's falling. It's more important things to worry about. And then you play games when people didn't want you to anymore, so you're not in good graces with the community. That they've been one of these suckers to stop. They've been one of these secret societies to stop playing games with me. They've been one of them to stop. Okay, so now they feel you disrespected them. You know what I'm saying? Because you put us all in harm's way for your own purpose. You put all of us in harm's way. That's the truth. You put us all in harm's way and nobody don't care about who you are anyway. And for a Christian, you ain't gonna ever be more special than God anyway. That's what I'm saying. That's like trying to appeal to a Christian. You can't appeal to me because materialism isn't at the top of my list for the things that I value. I don't care about materialism. So you can manipulate a million times with materialism, but you're too stupid to realize a Christian don't value that and prioritize that at the top of their list. So as a Christian, they ain't gonna never respect you. Now these worldly people gonna look around at all the stuff you're doing and feel like you're great and grand. You ain't gonna never command that kind of respect from us from what you do. Because a Christian gonna look at it like, okay, listen, God gave you the mind to do all of that. So we give praise to God, not to you, for what you've done, because God gives you the mind to do it. He's the one that gave you the mind. He could have made you a subhuman creature where you couldn't do nothing. But he made you in his image as human beings. So we give praise to God because you're made in the image of God. So common sense, we're going to give praise to God, not to you. And if you look at these Freemasons, they want you to praise them for what they built. That's an oxymoron to someone who say they serve God. Because low key, you want us to praise you for the stuff you built in the community. You want us to praise you for your position in the community. We praise God. We don't praise you. You don't deserve praise. No, because you do other things to stop the praise. You do other things to stop the praise. That's why. So we don't care what you built. We look at what you try to destroy. You try to destroy God's kingdom. We ain't gonna acknowledge nothing you built. That ends that. And they don't want to acknowledge that's what they've done. The Freemasons have played with God's kingdom. Finally, you finally played with the wrong people in God's kingdom. And that's that, buddy. You ain't gonna be able to manipulate to make me a monster, to demonize me. I belong to God, and that's what it is. And you say you know God. You proclaim to know God. But now you've met a prophet, and you can't manipulate to make yourself look godly or in a right position. You're not in the right position. You're just as bad as these hoodlums, these pathetic delinquents out here. These white boys who think they thugs and don't come from the streets at all and think they thugs. You come off like them to me. That's how you come off to me. I don't respect no Freemason. I don't respect your information because I don't respect your life. I don't respect what you've done with your life. I don't respect what you do. So I don't care about your information. See, that's how I get nippy to the bud. You can know whatever. You can know everything. And I don't respect you because of what you've done out here in the streets. What you've done with this community. I don't respect you at all. And I don't care what you know. I don't care what about it. I don't care nothing about it. I don't care if it's the answer for everything. I still ain't gonna respect you. I don't care if you got all the answers. I'm not going to respect you. I'm not going to respect you to the end of the world, ever. And that's that. See, they think we ignorant, like we don't know what they stand for. All this information and all this stuff, and that's all they stand for. However, you contradicted yourself, okay? Because with all that information, you shouldn't have been out here in the streets. You shouldn't have been out here playing with people. By no means, by no means. You shouldn't have been playing with nobody. And that's that. And that's why we don't respect you. See, I can show you why. You can't show me why you don't respect me. Oh, you can nitpick. You can try to figure things out for why you don't. You can look for contradictions. Man, listen, but everybody know the difference. The elephant in the room is the Freemasons play with the whole community. And we know that, bro. We know that. So don't try to project yourself to me like you're some. I don't care about what you do no more. I never did. But I definitely don't care nothing about your information. That's just like finding out somebody rapes women. A man rapes women, but he telling you about who he is as a person. He might have all the answers, but he rapes women. Are you gonna listen to a rapist? No. You're not going to listen to no rapist, no matter what he tell you, no matter if he's right. Okay, no, we ain't going to care nothing about your information. See, they think that's the last stronghold they got to hold on. No, you don't, because what cancels that out is what you've done out here in the streets. We don't care nothing about your information no more. So we don't care nothing about what you obtained in information. We don't care about it. We looking at what you do, just like people look at a preacher. A preacher can talk about the word of God all day. What you gonna do? You gonna watch what he do. You gonna watch his lifestyle. You ain't gonna expect him to be perfect now if you're a real man, right? So we gonna treat the Freemason the same way. We don't care nothing about what you preach, so to speak. We looking at what you've been doing. And now you see what I mean. When you look at a preacher, it's easy to see. Okay, we gonna watch the preacher, see what he do. You know what I'm saying? He got himself together. Okay, boom, he cool. You are not cool. We don't care nothing about the information. A preacher can talk about all this information, but if he contradict himself like you did out here, man, listen, man, we ain't trying to hear that, bro. We really are not. I don't care nothing about. I don't respect you. Simple as that. I do not respect you, and I don't respect nobody like you. I don't respect no fraternity and secret societies like you. And that's why. See, real masters learn to practice what they preach. You got to practice what you preach, buddy. You can have all that information and we don't care about it. No different than a preacher. You're no different. You can have all the right answers, all just like a preacher. But if you contradict yourself, you see what I'm saying, right? And their time has come to do that. They played the same position as all these churches that's been in scandal, all these Catholics that been in scandal. Freemasons' time just came for the same thing. And that's basically it. They came to scandal. That's all. And you can't manipulate, because we don't care about your information. I don't care about it no more. I never did. I never cared about your information. Okay? Now, we're in real war at this point, and we're winning. We're winning, right? We're winning the wars, and ain't nothing they can do to manipulate. See, playing that good brotherly role that the Freemason try to play, you can't play. You know what I'm talking about, right? This good brotherly role, man. You can't be serious, man. That time is gone, bro. It doesn't have any credibility. Okay? It doesn't. So I don't care about that. I don't care what it stands for. I can't stress that enough. I don't care. I don't care what it stands for. You play with one man, and then we want you dead. But we're going to do it God's way. We're gonna let you die God's way, with his judgment coming down on the Freemasons, with his judgment coming down on the Illuminati. Because Illuminati is not the real Illuminati. You know how I know? Because Adam Weishaupt, who started the Illuminati in Germany, his whole group started out as running from oppression. He ran from the Catholics and the government. Okay, so why would Adam Weishaupt, who started the Illuminati, why would he condone gang stalking? It's not a desperate situation. You played with somebody that wasn't in your way, and that's how he gonna look at it. How was I in your way? Okay then. So then if you would have walked away and mind your business, me and you would have never even knew each other. We would have never known. No, we would have never knew each other. You wouldn't have seen me thinking about you just like the rest of the community ain't thinking about you no more. Ain't nobody thinking about that group. You notice they don't even talk about them that much no more? They don't even talk about them no more because we done seen what they made of. That's basically why. You don't command the same respect. You can't live like animals and rats and roaches and then command the same respect as a lion. No. You are like roaches to us. Okay? The Adam Weishaupt ran from oppression. So how would he condone modern day American Illuminati gang stalking and playing games with people that ain't doing nothing to them? That's an oxymoron for Illuminati. But you don't know it because you don't know what it really is. They started out running from oppression. They ran from the government in Germany. It started in Germany. You thought I was a dummy. It started in Germany, They separated from the Catholics and the government, and the Catholics was the one that was after them, not the Christians. The Catholics was the ones. Now, dummy gonna say we had a war with religion with Christians back in the day. No, you didn't. You had a war with Catholics. The Catholics and the government was after you. I'm not a Catholic. I don't. That's not my brothers and sisters. Those who pray to Mary and idolize Mary is not my brother. Okay. So I don't have any affiliation with the Catholics, the Catholicism. Let's get that totally understood. None. I don't acknowledge them. They're just like religious people, like Muslims. I don't, and I got more respect for Muslims than the Catholics. Well, I mean, they really are abstaining from the world. They're really clean. They really about that life of trying to be clean and and do the right thing. These Catholics are filthy. Look at all the scandals they done got caught up in as grown men. No, I don't respect them for many reasons. Okay, and they just act like the government anyway. They corrupt and all that all around the world. They're in affiliations and in cahoots with the governments of the world. I don't have any respect for them. Okay, I don't respect no Catholics. Okay, that's who Adam Weishaupt had a problem with. He had a problem with the Catholics and the German government at his time. So how would he condone these fake Illuminati members that oppress people when the whole group started from anti-oppression? It was anti-oppression from the very beginning. Make it make sense where up to date a group that is anti-oppression is out here oppressing people. Because they Americans. That's what the problem is. The problem ain't Illuminati. The problem is Americans. That's why we made you the enemy. Because everything that goes to America turns to doo-doo. I don't care what it is. Christians over here ain't no good. Illuminati ain't no good. Everything over here. Black people, Africans ain't hardly no good over here. And Hispanics and Latinos are becoming no good over here. Anything that basically is Americanized turns to dookie. That's the truth. And so I realized this. It's not an Illuminati problem. It's an Americanized Illuminati problem. Which means the common denominator that we even see even in the church, in Christendom here in America, the common denominator is Americanized people that follow American crazy principles. They are the problem, which means America is the problem. They're the root of the problem. So for me as a prophet, I can talk intelligently about the Illuminati while many of you can't. You talk about all these people, these families, and all this stuff and whatever, and you talk of them in the same context as a Freemason. They're not the same thing. Adam Weishaupt started out running from oppression, similar to the Americans. The Americans ran from England, running from the oppression and for freedom of religion. That's very similar to Adam Weishaupt. His path was very similar to the Americans. They were running from oppression, both of them. America came here running from England, running for freedom of religion, which means they was probably running from the Catholics. Pretty sure it was. Once again, another problem with the Catholics. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. And they was running from the government as well. What's the difference? This is an ongoing problem in the world. People running from religion and running from the government. And Adam Weishaupt and his community was no different. So for anybody that becomes an oppressor, you can't represent Illuminati. You out your mind. If you represent oppression, you can't represent America. You out your mind. That's how I know you cracked out. You might as well be if you're not. Bugged out, man. You became a cartoon in all the culture. That's what the internet did to you. Because Americans, I represent being American. You know how? Because the nature of America was to separate for one's religion. Oh, you don't want to hear that, do you? That's 7 hour. to separate from America. I represent the new America that's separated from the present America for my freedom of religion and to separate from the government. That's the same thing America did in England. So the real nature of America in the beginning to make this place America was not freedom. The essence, by definitions and details, was those who separated from their government and separated to practice their own religion. That's the essence right there. You know, you can't really add to it. You could try, but you can't. That's the only two things. That was the main two things. Not sexuality and being gay and all that. No. America, in essence, at the beginning, the energy that was there with the people, the vibration, was that defined them was separation from a government and separation to practice one's own religion. That's it. Nothing added to it. Nothing else. And that was it. Okay? How Christians don't represent that? See, you so retarded, man. You don't even know what you're talking about intelligently. What it is to be American. What's the essence of it? How did it get here? What is the real roots of America? Separation from government and separation to practice one's religion. Those two things right there. You can't even tell me nothing else. Now, you can try to add along the way, but you're insulting my intelligence. I'm talking about the beginning. What did the essence consist of? It consisted of abstaining from a government and separating for one's own practice of one's own religion. What am I doing? I'm doing the same thing. I'm separating from your government. I'm separating to practice my own religion outside of the homosexual and lesbian community. Boom. That's 7 hours. So you became that, and now a new America came out separating just as you did initially from England. And I'm just doing the same thing. To practice my beliefs in my religion, which is not for homosexuality or lesbianism. That's the real America. Separation from the government. I'm just doing the same thing. I'm separating from the government. It's the essence of Americans. See, you thought it was freedom. Foolish. The essence is separation from government and separation to practice my own religion. Separation from everything going on to practice my own religion. Separation from gay and lesbian to practice my own religion. That's what an American is. That's the same essence. That's the same logistics. That's what I'm trying to show you. That's the same logistics. That's the same logistics. Right or wrong? Okay then. So by essence, I am more American than you. This is the second separation. This is the second separation as Americans. The first separation was in England. This is the second separation with all this gay and lesbian stuff, and we're coming out of it. Just like we came out of England. Now we're doing that again. And everybody think we're being traitors. The truth is, we are the Americans practicing what the ancestors practiced by coming out of the government and coming out of America, gay and lesbian America, to practice our religion. Yeah, that's what it is. That's all it is. Now, what you supposed to be? You know what you are? You're strange, what I call strange America. Yeah, you're strange America. You ain't got no principles, and it ain't just the Hispanic and Latinos. It's the whole thing. Listen, you can't blame them. No, it's the whole thing. It's strange America. You don't even know what this stands for. You don't even know what this is about. You don't even know what America's about, buddy. You can't even talk about it intelligently. Okay, what makes us American? The Constitution. Because we don't all live the same lifestyle and have the same amount of money. So you can't say, well, being rich and being opportunities, everybody ain't got opportunities. So you can't base it on being high class, low class, or middle class. You can't base it on that because everybody don't have the same experience, right? So if you go to this one guy, he's going to tell you something totally different from this other guy. So what makes us all America when we have different levels of life and different levels of money? What makes us all America should be the Constitution. That's what makes this flow as it does. Even though we don't get the full treatment of the Constitution, what makes this move like it does, where we don't have to kill everybody, is the Constitution. It keeps everything at bay, basically. That if you went to another country and they told you what defines American, what makes you American, the Constitution. The Constitution of America. That's what makes it move like it does. Make sense? Okay. It ain't the money. It ain't the money what makes it move like it does. It might seem like it is, but without the Constitution, where would the money be? Where would you be? Even though we're not getting the full rights as black people. Now, I don't feel like we're getting the full rights of the Constitution because people break our constitutional rights. Even now, putting us under illegal surveillance. That's breaking your constitutional rights. You can't break constitutional rights and say you're American. No, you can't. You know what you thought? Oh, well, desperate time, desperate measures. Nope. Let me tell you something, buddy. The ancestors did not make the Constitution for you to break it during desperate times and desperate measures. You are supposed to be competent enough to get any job done without breaking constitutional rights. Glory to God. You're supposed to be good enough at what you do as agencies, in different type of agencies, and that includes ICE too. You're supposed to be competent enough to do your job without breaking constitutional rights. But you know what you're going to think about? You know what you're leaning on thinking about right now? Especially ICE. Oh, well, desperate times, desperate measures. I guarantee that's the cliche that's in the world views of the minds of the Americans. Desperate times, desperate measures. I guarantee you that's what they insinuate. But the Constitution wasn't made for you to, during desperate times, desperate measures, you can break the constitutional rights of others. That's the 7th hour. That ain't what it's about, is it? No, you know what it is. Listen, you're incompetent. That's what it is, buddy. Listen, if you was competent, you'll be able to do your job without breaking people's constitutional rights. Yeah, buddy. Thought you had it in the bag. Thought you knew what you was playing with, didn't you? I'm more American than you. I'm separated from the government and separated from the community to practice my religion, to practice real Christianity that has nothing to do with homosexuality and lesbianism. That's a real American. And many of you are cowards to be a real American. You're supposed to be separated from this country for your religion, for your Christianity. You're supposed to be trying to make it work out. It can't work out because it can't work out with God. So how it's going to work out? What they doing can't work out with God. That part. So how it's going to work out with you? What they're doing, marrying gay people and lesbians every day in America, that can't work out with God. So you have to come out of America just like we did initially in England. Now this is the second separation. That's for the real Americans. Without trying to, that's what I've done. You come out and separate because it's too gay and lesbian. It's all everywhere. And it's not enough to love them. I know what I'm talking about. They want you to accept what they do, because the bottom line is, besides love, they want laws and all these laws to be passed. What that got to do with loving them? It ain't good enough to love them. They want other stuff done that has put your country in jeopardy. See, it wasn't, see, they gonna Jedi mind trick talking about love. Nah, love ain't good enough. Look at it for what it is. Come on, grow up, grow up, grow up, grow up. It's not about love. So why they got us doing all this other stuff then? If it was just love, listen, you will respect the boundary that we gotta live for God in this country. Okay, we can love you, we ain't doing nothing to you, but we can't let you have laws that curse the country. And you gotta say it like it need to be said. They're cursing the country with the gay and the lesbian laws. See, that's where the prophet gonna come in. That curses it. Now, what you do in your bedroom is between you and your maker. I can't come drag you out of your bedroom. What you should be petitioning for is protection. You gay and lesbian people don't even have no protection in America. You don't have no real laws to make people stop from hurting you. What you should have been vouching for more than anything is laws to protect you. So you can have enough time to serve the Lord, to come to your senses, like some of us have. You might have got turned out as a kid, and somebody else tried to turn you out as an adult, and now you're going through your own personal journey, right? You get allowed a grace period to turn from your wicked ways, which is protection by the laws. But you don't have that in America. This is what I'm saying. Man should have enough time to come to his senses, to himself, right? Okay, meanwhile, we have to protect you until you do. Make sense? We have to protect you. Because a lot of people don't want you to live, right? They want to kill you. Okay, so we, in wisdom, protect you until you come to your senses. Now, you don't see it that way, but that's what we would be motivated to do it for, right? You got people that will give you gay marriage laws, but they don't give you no protection. Tell me about the laws that protect gay people. Tell me, hate speech. You see how elementary that is? Hate speech laws. What's the other one? A gay hate law. A gay hate act. A gay hate act. That's it, right? Guarantee you it ain't a lot of severity on it. I guarantee you it ain't severe punishment on it. You should have been with all these see, this is the main reason. You should have had these laws to protect gay people and lesbians. Because all these kids, you can handle yourself. But what about all these kids coming out now at the speed of light, running around just thinking they living their life? You know, and I was even one of them. You think you're innocent into this approach to this sexuality, but you don't realize how many crazy gay people it is. Not even just the heterosexuals. These bugged out gay people. These bugged out lesbians that's not as innocent as you are. And they prey on you and use you, and once you got HIV, they spit you out. Okay? What about these gay predators that prey on these gay people? And they just dusty and dirty and nasty and prey on other gay people. And they can't live this innocent life that you talking about. We live, like just coming out and spreading your wings and being a good, nice gay person. You can't do that in America. You're going to have so many people trying to use you and abuse you as soon as you step on the scene as a gay little boy or gay little girl. That's the truth. You're among wolves. As you come out as a gay person, you're going to be among wolves. That's the truth. That's not even mentioning these homophobic people. We ain't even talking about them. No. We talking about other gay people, your peers. That you need to be protected from them. If they do something wrong to you and give you HIV, and that needs to be updated. And they use you and misuse you and sex traffic you, basically. That part. And use you just for sexual reasons. And they put whatever they want to put on it and say what it is or whatever they want to say in a gay way. You've been sex trafficked. That's what you've been. They pull you from one city, some gay guy or gay woman pull you from one city to the other, and you get misused for sex and all kind of stuff. That's sex trafficking, basically. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Don't matter what age you are. It's the same. It's sex trafficking. Just like prostitution. Prostitution applies to young and old people. You're being tricked out. You're being tricked out. That's all it is. So you need all these laws and you don't have them. This is how you know America don't love you. Because like I've explained before, gay marriage laws, that's not even pure. You know what that's about? That's rich people that's gay, that want to be acknowledged as financially as heterosexuals. The only reason let me explain something. The only reason gay, lesbian marriage laws, the main objective of that is to give gay and lesbian couples the same financial rights and privileges as heterosexuals. That's the same thing. That's all it is. They sat back and they wanted to be acknowledged financially as a gay couple. As a straight couple. So that's not even pure. That's about money. That's why it says the love of money is the root of all evil. See, you didn't even know. You should have knew. You should have knew that was about money. Only people that's talking about gay marriage love is those at the bottom, on the streets. You the one going to the courthouse to get married to show your love to your partner. You know what these gay marriage people gonna do? They gonna be together. These rich gay people gonna be together regardless. They got it going on. They got money. They got cars. They got everything. So they don't care about no titles. They live so long without them. You think they care about them now? Think about it. They live so long without them is what I'm trying to show you. So you think they just worried about it now? No, that ain't what it was. What it was they sat back with their straight friends, their heterosexual friends drinking wine in the backyard and saying, well, we want to be acknowledged financially like y'all. A straight couple, a man and a woman, chilling with a gay couple, right? They sitting around drinking wine. What you think they gonna start talking about? I'm talking about people that's rich. A straight couple goes over to the house and chill, cook, eat, chill with a gay couple, right? What you think they gonna start talking about? The main thing all grown people talk about, money. And when they get tipsy and start talking about money, this is before gay marriage. What you think they concluded? We don't get acknowledged as a couple. We're just like two dogs hitched together. We don't get acknowledged at the banks and get these packages like a straight couple. A straight couple got financial packages where they acknowledge couples, heterosexual couples, and say, we'll do this for you. And they wasn't doing that with gay people because they wasn't married, right? So if you're not married, you can't go in there. And they probably tried, no, but we got to have y'all married. You got to be a married couple to get these financial packages. There are some things that only applies, like tax write-offs and claiming people as dependents. Okay, even that. This is real grown man talk. Claiming people as dependent, they can't claim you as a dependent in the context of being married if you're not married. They can't get that money. Okay? So see, it's all about money. That's what the whole gay marriage thing is all about. Rich people wanting to be acknowledged financially like heterosexuals in America. That's common sense. That's coming next. All this money and stuff. But some things only apply to couples. But you don't get none of that as a couple, as a gay couple. You're going to want the same thing. You're going to want to be acknowledged as a couple. Financially. So that's the whole reason they fought for gay marriage laws. It's not no pure thing about love. The people, the ground soldiers, the gay ground community, the lesbian ground troops, the ground soldiers, y'all the one that make it look like and appear that it's this fight for love. It's a fight to be acknowledged as a heterosexual couple financially. And you didn't even get to that part. And you are not at that part now. You should know the rich rules everything. Right? Okay then, this applies in the same situation. Gay marriage is not some innocent gay feat for love. Like they gonna make you go out there, you gonna present it like that, running around with these banners and talking about gay marriage. But see, you don't even listen. You don't even get to partake of the real essence of what it's all about, which is being financially acknowledged like a heterosexual couple. Where they can go into banks, they can go anywhere and get loans as a couple and everything, and they can use one of their partners for a dependent if they taking care of them. and they can get more money. So if not for any other reason, to claim them as a dependent. How you gonna do that if y'all not married? So you always got in the gay couple, one of them might be sitting at home all the time. We know that. You got one that's responsible, one that's rich, making money, and the other one is cute as a button, but broke as a button. Broke as a button and cute as a button. Broke as a button off a shirt. Cute as a button and broke as a button off the shirt, right? Right, okay. So, with that being said, what you think a rich guy gonna wanna do? He gonna wanna claim him as a dependent. He ain't gonna wanna get rid of him. Cause he go home, he cook all the time, he got the music playing. Come on, I already know, buddy. Come home, he got the house smelling good, he take care of everything, but he broke, right? Okay, so how can a gay dude gonna say, how can I capitalize? How I'm gonna get money? I can claim him as a dependent, but I can't do it because we ain't married. I can't do it like that. And I can't go to a bank and get these packages and all these different stuff and all this stuff that applies financially to a couple, a gay couple or a lesbian couple. So I've been talking about this for a while, and you ain't gonna find no other body talking about this like I do, that the whole reason ain't even pure, that it's all about love. It ain't all about love, it's all about being acknowledged financially like heterosexuals. I'm talking about the top gay people with money. Think about it, you gonna think you throwing away money if y'all not acknowledged financially as a couple. You know how many perks it is in this country for being acknowledged as a couple financially? Right. Okay, maybe you didn't work up to it in life and when you was married, so you don't know, right? Okay, but just say you don't know. But there's all type of perks, there's all type of systems and all type of facilities, if you will, that facilitate the couple here in America. So what we gonna do? We need gay marriage so we can get money. We need gay marriage so we can be acknowledged financially as a couple. That's what they're going to sit around with their heterosexual friends and talk about. Yeah, we need to be acknowledged like a couple. Financially. We're going to acknowledge ourselves, but we need for America to acknowledge us financially as a couple. So we can get the same thing that heterosexual couples get. See? That's what it's all about, buddy. So that ain't even pure. Why you think people fighting it, what you think it stands for, it don't stand for that. It stands for being acknowledged financially as a couple, which makes common sense. I'm not saying, listen, I don't agree with it, but I understand. Okay, if you got a whole bunch of money, but y'all just ain't being acknowledged as a couple, but you ain't really living like Americans. And then you don't know that till you go chill with your homies. And then you see, oh man, they got these things. They can do this, they can do that, they can da. But we can't do nothing. We like two hitched up dogs, ain't doing nothing with our money. Think about it. You got two couples that got money, but they can't make it work like a real couple in America. They can't make it go that far. You see what I'm saying? And so that's what the whole thing is about. Okay? See, I'm able to, just like somebody in prison. In prison, these days, you can't go in there and hurt gay people. You have politics. You have politics among real dudes, the Christians, the Muslims, and the gay people. Look at it as in the sense of that. All I do is I politic between the different forces and different walks of life. That's what I do. You know what I'm saying? And I have the right, just like I would in prison, to say my piece and what I stand for. You know what I'm saying? And so without really stepping on anybody else's toes. See, my approach is totally different. See, I'm showing you something about yourself which you should have in order, which is better gay laws to protect you. The laws are so weak, man. It don't make no sense, and it calls for more protection because people just hate gay people. So you got to use common sense. Black trannies get killed more than any other type of transsexual. The gay trannies get killed all the time because of neighborhoods they got to live in. They got to live in these hoods, in the streets, in the gutters. You know what I'm saying? And the hood is just, sometimes they'll show no mercy. They hate it. They hate the appearance of it. And some men, will kill you if they get turned on, and then they find out you're a woman, a man. They gonna feel like they betrayed themselves, and they gonna take it out on you. You know what I'm saying? It could be that, but the bottom line is black trannies get killed more than white trannies. They community embrace them. Hispanic and Latinos, they embrace trannies too. Black culture does not really embrace trannies. No, man. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You go in the hood and you out here, you know, you can't even look. No, you can't even move like that, because it could be somebody that, you know. See, that's why I gotta be undisturbed, you know, because even out there, this somebody talking about I'm fake. I'm saying the realest stuff you heard in the last 10 years, right? But then how can that person sit up? Because they got a spirit. You see, everybody, it ain't a matter of being gay or straight all the time. It's other spirits. You understand? Well, that person shouldn't have said nothing, right? Right, when I'm talking this good. But you see what I mean, right? By fake people, that's fake. You see somebody talking this good, a person like me, let him talk. Should be the mentality. Nah, let that dude talk. He right. Black, but see, that's fake of them, right? You think you can see me and you can't. I'm trying to tell you, on everything I love, you can't see me, bruh. That's for this female that just came in here talking about fake. Man, you can't see me, bro. I just saw you. But see, you represent a demonic interruption while I'm talking good. You see what I'm saying? That person, we don't deal with them type of people. It ain't causing nothing, but it's cause of them. You got some gay people that do not bother people. You got some lesbians that don't bother. That person is not them. You can't vouch for them. No. You dealing with the best, buddy. I know there's some gay people that stay out the way. I know it's some gay people that stand in the way. I know it's some lesbians that's out the way. They really don't care. You know what I'm saying? They gonna do them. You know what I'm saying? And they ain't gonna come in my way and try to act like you in the streets. You heard? So it's like, yo, just stay in your lane, bro. That goes for the female that just came up here that said fake. Now I pulled your card. You don't got no credibility no more. You don't, because I called you for what you're doing. Okay? Ain't nothing fake about me, buddy. I'm listening to the politics. I'm paying attention. Listen to the politics. That's what you want me to be. That's what you already came in thinking. Yeah. When I done said the realest stuff that done been said in the last 10 years. Like these laws to protect people. See, you just mad because you ain't intelligent and you ain't intellectual like I am. Well, we ain't heard you say nothing. I bet you ain't said nothing. I bet you ain't said nothing about these weak gay laws for black trannies, and they getting dumped off on the side of the road like roadkill. That's what's happening. And the prophet is the one out of everybody, ironically, that say it should be more laws to protect them. Because they can have enough time to come to God. That's what a wise Christian would do. Okay, I give laws to protect them so they can have time. Because you don't know, they could have got turned out as a kid, right? Everybody out there gay didn't just step out there gay. You could have got turned out as a kid, right? And you're just basically acting on the first sexuality that you knew, right? Right. Okay, so I could give a grace period where you could come to your senses and go through that. That's for those who do this the right way. I'm not saying I'm not condoning it, right? But there's wisdom with understanding. Let this person go and see what it's all about. I'm not saying condoning it. They're going to go see what it's all about, and they ain't going to want nothing to do with it. I guarantee you. Most of them ain't. No, you ain't. No, you ain't. Because it ain't what you thought it was. You realize even when you get your way to do the gay stuff and the lesbian stuff, it ain't what you thought it was, is it? No, it ain't. None of it is. The whole community, none of it is. Let's keep it 100. We're in America, which means just because people are gay and lesbian, it ain't gonna all work out. It's gonna be hate, it's gonna be player haters and all of that. You're gonna go through that too. Catting people, drama, all that. People trying to kill you. Man, gay people be killing their partners. So where's the gay love in that? These lesbians, a lesbian cop killed her partner, and I think she killed herself too. She killed her lover and her lover's lover, and this murderous love triangle. And this was a cop, a lesbian cop, bro. You gotta watch out for gay and lesbian people among you. Then now you go out past them to see. It's just a dangerous adventure, I tell you. It's a dangerous adventure in America. You got to deal with these lesbians and gay people that will kill you. Okay? You date them and you date the wrong person, you gonna be dead. Okay? They don't, and what I notice is gay and lesbian people, I'm gonna just say gay, right? They treat each other so bad. They treat each other, they got their own ranks of who's among themselves. They treat each other so bad. Gay people treating other people, gay people so bad. They got these ranks and levels. And if you don't fit up to it as far as status, money, and how you carry yourself, listen, they will treat you so bad among yourselves. And you know I'm right, don't you? Yeah, you've been treated so bad by other gay people, haven't you? Keep it 100. Keep it 100. I know. I've been there, done that. I know what I'm talking about. And you know what you need? You know what you need? You need gay laws to protect you for when you venture out there. Where you can put these gay people in prison for playing with your life and playing in your face. Same thing with these lesbians. You need gay laws, lesbian laws to protect you. Because there's a lot of wolves out here. And when they can find and connect the dots that you basically was preyed on and disposed of like you wasn't even a human being, we give them severe punishment for that. That's a certain frequent behavior in the gay community. Okay? That's a frequent behavior of gay people mistreating other gay people. It's very frequent. All the time. So you need laws. Yes, you do. You need laws. You need laws. And you need laws to protect yourself out here in these streets, especially black trannies. Your culture, many black people will kill you. But you gotta live among them. You still gotta live there. You ain't got enough money to go live in these white neighborhoods. So you still gotta live around the way, maybe forever. And then how you gonna do that? How you gonna live among them like that? Where you gotta watch your back all the time. And these other dudes, hey, they coming home from prison, going to the hood. What about that part? What about people coming home from the hood, from the Rikers, right? What about that? You gotta sit there and not even know if this person in the store is plotting on you. For whatever reason. You don't even know. So my perspective is, I'll give you laws to protect yourself as opposed to worried about gay marriage. You don't need to worry about that. That came from rich people. That's for rich people to claim their spouse on financially, to be acknowledged as a couple financially. Okay? So you gotta understand that, man. You gotta understand that. See, that's what makes me the top. That's why they can't stand it. Because you listen, you know what? You thought for sure I hated gay people, didn't you? Because you were lame. No, I listen, I make sure I live the way I want to live, just like they live the way they want to live. But when it comes down to just straight up hate for no reason, you know what I'm saying? Or for something you doing that I personally don't do or I don't really care about, why would I care? That's just my personality. Now, if you come in my lane, then that's a different story. Obviously, that's not going to be about you being gay or a lesbian. You came in my lane. That's what it's about. That's what it's about. It ain't about you. See, you gotta understand. Everybody ain't trying to kill you or hate you. Sometimes some people from your community, from this gay and lesbian community, are out here in other dynamics that you know they're in, and it ain't got nothing to do with them being gay. They out here playing with people. They out in the streets, right? So we ain't thinking about their sexuality. That's what it is. So you can't make me one of them dumb people that just gonna make a mistake or just hating gay people. No, you listen. Sometimes you bring hate on yourself. Sometimes you bring hate. All right. Sometimes you bring hate on yourself, buddy. Ain't nobody hating you cause you gay or you a lesbian. Yes.
Hi. Good afternoon.
Okay. So that's the best method. That's the best method to proceed forward, right? And so that's just how it has. That's the best, wisest method, and that's what you should be vouching for. If not for any other reason, like I said, these young kids coming out, you gotta think about them because you can handle yourself, right? You can walk through the hood, handle yourself, you know. Kids, they gonna come out here thinking, I'm spreading my wings, I'm trying to be who I want to be, and they gonna venture out thinking like that. And so laws in the sports and all of that, that's just a whole different other situation. Main thing foundationally, it has to be protection. That comes first. That comes first and foremost. And that's the main thing you should be vouching for. That's all you should be vouching for. Why can't it happen? It just hasn't been enough people vouching for it. That's what it is. That's what it is. So, you know, that's where I stand. You know what I'm saying? That's what I stand for. You know, and see, but people didn't know that about me. They didn't know that about me. You know, I will not make them. I don't make mistakes as people that come out here and just because how I see it is, you're a grown man or woman, right? You got to be approached as an adult for people to even consider what you're talking about. Even with me, people got to approach me like an adult first. And then I consider whatever else they talking about. So, you know, that's basically how it is, you know. You know, moving forward, you know what I'm saying, that you don't see no signs of that. You don't see nothing going on with that. Okay, so just keep all of that in consideration, keep all of that in mind, you know what I'm saying? And I stay 100. I stay 100 about everything, you know what I'm saying? And see, that's basically wisdom, you know what I'm saying? While everybody else just do this, do that, do this, do that, right? But wisdom comes in, okay? When you really do consider humanity and how you needed to do things and how you needed time to see yourself. You know what I'm saying? You can at least say, I gave people a chance. See, that's God though. That's how God is. I give everybody a chance. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how it is.